All right, it's day 3, 15 days till LS Fest. I got off a little bit early today. Sun's still shining. I got a few more hours to work on the truck. The goal for today is I want to start testing the wiring. I want to make sure like fuel pump fans, it'll turn over, all that stuff kind of works before I go any further and start putting everything back together. I hooked the battery up a few days ago over the weekend. Turned the key on, get power to the ECU and the dash, but I can't get nothing else to work. I think it's a firmware problem between the dash and the ECU. Currently downloading the new firmware. We're gonna go from there. Hopefully I can get this figured out and I ain't gonna call tech support. I've been in a similar situation before where firmware caused some weird issues like this and certain things not acting right. When I tried it the other day, turn the key on, power everything up. I basically get power to the ignition, but the engine won't turn over. I don't get any output. I get input power from the switch to the ECU, but I don't get any output. Same thing with like the cooling fans and fuel pumps. Just weird. So that's what I'm hoping it is. I'm going to play with this for a little while today, and then we'll see how it starts going. If it's going bad, then I might work on some other things and have to call tech support tomorrow. I was trying to get home in order to maybe just have some time to call them today, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't actually know what time they close, but it's after 5, so should probably look into that. I still got the weird clicking, like the blinker. Sound like the blinker relay, but the rear blinkers are not blinking. Doesn't change with the switch. Switch is off, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It's kind of annoying, but that's all another problem. Okay, got the firmware loaded in here. We're going to run through the setup checklist again. We've got voltage, air temp's working, coolant temp seems to be working. I had a problem with the throttle. Yeah, the throttle blade's not moving. Well, throttle's not opening for some reason. We're going to start fan 1. I don't actually have the fan plugged in, so we're just going to measure voltage. It should be this one. Fan 1 is working. It's a good sign. Yes. Fan 2, heard the relay. Fan 1 doesn't have a external relay because it's built in the ECU. Fan 2 is working. Yes. And 3 is trans cooler. Start engine. I'm not quite ready to start engine, but I don't have ignition. I mean, I have ignition. We don't have start for some reason. So when you hit the key, the voltage on the input spikes up, but I get nothing on the other side. So if I set the active state to low, which basically inverts on or off, the light comes on the ECU and we get a weird it's like not enough voltage or something. Throttle positioned at 23.6% and it's literally closed. Definitely got something weird going on there. I don't really understand. Alright, so I'm gonna dive into this on my own. This y'all don't want to sit here for this boringness. When I figure it out, I'll jump back in. Alright, so the wiring check didn't really go to plan. I mean, I got the fans working. I adjusted some settings. I was able to switch the high and low voltage setting on the starter wire, and I got it to make a noise at the starter until the battery kind of died. Some of it may be battery related. This battery I got is pretty much junk. But I can't get it to do anything with the ignition switch. I even rerouted the settings and the tune from the ignition switch to the transcooler fan, and turning the switch to start wouldn't even kick the fan on. So it's registering that the switch is working on the computer, but it's not like connecting the two together in the ECU. I don't know, it's weird. It may be a firmware issue. I did try to go back a few updates on the firmware and that didn't really do anything either. Might be a battery issue. I need to get a fresh battery. I'm gonna need one anyway, so I gotta add that to the list of things to buy. So I'm gonna cut my losses for tonight on that because I'm not making any progress. I mean, we did get a few things working, so a little bit ahead, a little bit further ahead than it was yesterday, but not where I want to be. I'm going to go ahead and pull the bracket out for the transmission cooler, get that cleaned up and painted, pull the cross member out for the transmission, smooth that out, and get it painted too. And that's probably going to be it for tonight, but that's the next goal. Let's get after it. Fill in these a little bit more, and I need to fuse in the back side of this where it didn't get full penetration. But I left my welding hood at work, so I'm gonna have to finish that one tomorrow. In the meantime, we'll get this bracket cleaned up. one thing off the list, and we're gonna take the diff cover off and peek our eyes on that sucker. Honestly, may not even want to know. This is gonna be the first thing that blows up. 300,000 mile 10 bolt barely handles 200 horsepower, let alone 700 or whatever this thing's gonna put out. So, pinion seal changed, output shaft seal changed. We got paint on the fan, the trans cooler mount. Paint cooler mount. We'll go with half on that. Output shaft seal. Ah, there we go. I didn't put pinion seal on here. Dang it. You're not supposed to check off things that aren't on the list. Okay. Actually lied. We haven't actually put paint on this thing. Better do that real quick. Oh, nice catch. Things pack a punch. Got paint from 10 foot away. Oh, I like it. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so I didn't get a lot done. We got a little bit closer on the wiring and voltage testing of things, not where I want to be. Because I'm pretty much ready to start this thing up if I could just get it to turn over with the key. I mean, I could bypass the key and put the remote button on it, but that's not really ideal. It's not going to tell me anything, so knocked off, what is that, 2.5 things? 2.5 things plus the pinion seal that wasn't on the list, so kind of a give and take, a little bit of a wash. But it's progress nonetheless, so you gotta stay optimistic. It's gonna be it for tonight. I'm tired. I'm gonna go in, get a bite to eat, start editing this video, and I will see y'all back in the shop tomorrow. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. It's another day in the shop. It's currently 14 days to go. Oof, I lost a day. It's currently May 2nd. 14 days to get the old OBS done. My plan tonight is to clean up the welds on the transmission crossmember. I'm going to paint that. I'm going to finish welding and painting the shift linkage. I've got a fresh battery. We're going to hook that up, run some more electrical tests, and see if that solves any of my problems, some of my problems. I've got 5 gallons of fuel. We're going to dump some fuel in the tank, see if we can get some action with the pumps. And we're just kind of going to go from there and see where the night takes us. I'm going to get done what I can get done, so let's hit it. enough to fail. Don't know what I did with the screws for that. You know, normally putting fuel in the project vehicle for the first time is very, I don't know, satisfying. Stupid thing. It's normally very satisfying. However, knowing what I know about not wanting to turn over makes it not quite as satisfying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see the fuel pump work, but I need to buy one of them little electric pumps to go on top of these things. You just stick the hose in there and press a button. Battery pack on it. Also just realized I don't know where the gas cap is. I'm sure it's wherever the screws are to hold the filler in there. But I had a thought last night. I was trying to sleep. Can't really find any information on the interwebs. I was hoping to get home early enough to call the Hall Tech support line. But I didn't because they're an hour ahead of us in Eastern time. I had a thought. I've got the fuel pump turned off in the computer because I didn't have no fuel in it. Didn't want to run the pumps dry. I haven't seen a setting, but I'm wondering if there's something in there that like you can't turn the engine over without the fuel pump being activated. That sounds kind of crazy, but seen crazier things cause smaller problems. Really? Why? I'm tired of not putting all 6 gallons in there. Should be good enough. We don't have any leaks. We still got throttle position codes. That makes no sense. Okay, no fuel pump works. No fuel pump working. These are weird things going on because it says transmission module status not connected. But the light is on over there. You know what? I don't have the fuel pump ground hooked up. Might have something to do with it. Oh, fuel pump works. Do we have any leaks? I don't see any. That's a good sign. All right, so we just run nonstop. That's fun. £30 of fuel pressure. We're a little bit low at the adjusted gauge, but it works. That's it's half the freaking battle. We could just figure out why this dang thing won't turn over. It's really starting to get kind of frustrating. Like, key, we get voltage. We get nothing here. For whatever reason, when you turn the key, the ECM is not connecting the circuit to the starter wire. But why? Well, you know what? So this is going to 5 volts, but that's still showing off. Why does it show off? We want to assign the override to be the AV1, which is the ignition switch. And we get nothing. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But then I also got issues with the gauge because the fuel pressure don't work. The air temp says it's negative 460. The coolant temp says it's negative 460. Both of those should be reading 75 degrees. That's about ambient air temp in the shop right now. All right. I spent the last 15 or 20 minutes just checking wires, checking everything, making sure I didn't have any sensors or anything shorted to ground. Because a few days ago when I first powered everything up, I couldn't get nothing to work, but I had a throttle pedal that you step on the pedal, the throttle blade would actuate it and had no codes. And then I got an alert for upgrade the firmware. I upgraded the firmware. Ever since then, I've been having problems. So I kept trying to downgrade the firmware, changing back and forth to different ones. Kind of got the same result. Instant codes for throttle position sensor and other random things. The dash was showing maxed out on pretty much all the sensors, even after upgrading its firmware, because I had to do that too. I plugged in some things like the knock sensor, the coolant temp, things like that. So I went back through and unplugged all of those, trying to find like where this problem is, what's going on, what did I do that caused this. And then something told me, disconnect the battery, go unplug everything at the ECM, plug it all back in. The very back, I guess it'd be the front connector on the ECM. I guess I got the wiring harness zip tied a little too tight, so when I plugged that in at one point, it never clicked. It never latched. When I finished hooking up the inputs and output wiring right there underneath the dash and behind the glove box, and I had to pull the wiring harness somewhat back out of the firewall and put it back in, I think I pulled that plug out. And my guess is that plug goes to all the sensors and most of the engine control functions, because we now have this. And I'm going to raise this up so y'all can see. I'm going to go over here and hit the key. I need y'all to listen carefully. That is the beautiful sound of the transmission cooler fan working off the start switch. Exactly like it's wired, which means if we clear this out, we reassign this to I don't remember which one. Oh, we don't need to reassign it because I don't need a switch. We're going to turn off the enable switch. I realize y'all can't really see this. Let's see if I can make this work. Sorry about that. You probably still can't see it because it's kind of blurry, but turn my override switch off that I was using to test the start switch to the fan. We're going to come down here to engine start control. We're going to go to wiring and we're going to assign AVI1. And we're going to click OK. Now, what should happen? We reboot this thing. When I hit that switch, that engine should turn over. I'm going to give y'all a bird's eye view. Make sure nothing's going crazy up here. We ain't got no belt, so it's just going to be that lower pulley spinning. Say a little prayer to the car gods. Please work. Oh, yes. Now I'm getting excited. So, y'all know what that means. Let's hook the injectors up. Let's slap the coils on there. I'm not going to change the spark plugs yet. I'm just going to put this old one back in this hole. I want to just see if it fires off and idles on its own. It don't even have to idle on its own. I just want to see it bark off in some capacity, because that will just make my freaking week. And I'm going to be, I don't know whether to be thrilled or freaking pissed off at myself that connector's been unplugged this whole freaking time. Like I told myself for the last 4 or 5 days, it's something simple. I know it's something simple. It's always something simple. Like it's very rarely not something simple. And the whole time I'm not talking bad about Haltech by any means. I never did. It's just, man, this is my luck. Like, I save up, I spend the money to get this really nice stuff for once, because I never go that route. It's always cheap, get it done, make it work, whatever you got. And the one time I do it, it don't work. But I'm glad it is not the case. Okay, we got a coil pack for this side. I was gonna change the oil before I did this, but I'm over it. I want to hear it fire. Okay, we need spark plug wires. Let me go grab a set of those. Don't know that I actually have a set of spark plug wires. That's just fantastic. Because the old truck from 2006 had some crazy custom nonsense going down with how we had to have the manifolds ran. We had to have like small block Chevy spark plug wires. Oh, I can't use the CTSV ones either because they're too dang short. I don't really want to take them off the Scout either. These are not going to work because they got right angles on them. Don't tell me I got this far and we're so close to hearing it run and I don't have spark plug wires. I thought I had a whole set on the shelf. All right, to heck with it. They're coming off the Scout. I'm over it. Okay, I'm back. To add that to the list of things I gotta buy. May or may not eventually get melted by the wastegate tube. Oof. That's not very good. So I'm going to be buying a set for the Scout. Okay, we're all plugged in there. Plugged in there. Got the turbo feed line, but I don't have the drain. So I don't make a mess, we're just going to dump that right back into there. You think she's going to fire off? Might be more entertaining to be over here with the exhaust side. I think it will, but I have my doubts also. All right, y'all, ready? What could go wrong? Okay, here goes nothing. I say here goes nothing. I better make sure this battery's not going to freaking come flying off the rail. All right, y'all ready? Cycle it one more time. Get it to bleed the injectors. Well, you know what? We don't have enough fuel pressure, but Let's just see what happens. All right, we have a trigger reference error. It's supposed to auto read that, but might be confused because this is a Gen 4 motor, Gen 3 reluctor wheel in it. She tried. The only thing I can think is there's not enough fuel pressure. Looking for like 50. All right, 46 should work. And we got a fuel leak at the tank. Yay! All right, I'm gonna go at least put the yoke in the drive shaft. Or the drive yoke in the transmission. That's the word. Yep, we got a line or something leaking on top of the tank. That's just fantastic. All right, we got like half the injectors not firing. That's about. Because they're not freaking plugged in all the way. What the heck? Not doing a very good job with plugging stuff in. Well, that route is definitely wrong. Definitely a Gen 3. Looking for 57 pounds of fuel pressure. We got 44. 56. All right, we're going to check the trigger RPM. Trigger works. Injectors and ignition not working. Good news, bad news. Bad news is I think it was in gear and the drive shaft's wobbling around. Good news is we didn't tear it up. The other good news is we only have an injector problem. I'm gonna take that as a freaking win. We got fuel leak, like probably the return coming out of the tank. But she fired off. Ran for a split second on starting fluid. I am freaking ecstatic. Like, man, last few days I've been stressing like crazy. I thought for sure it was over, like not gonna happen. But she runs. All right, let's mark off what we did today. We didn't paint the crossmember, so we'll just mark off clean. It's like 8:30. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm lost. Trans fluid, we're gonna have to add some because I leaked some of it out. Fuel in tank. Tank sender, not quite. Titan trans lines, we did that. Nope, can't really say I installed the dry shaft because it's only halfway. So, we didn't make a lot of progress in terms of the list, but the fact that it's running, I feel like I'm 10 steps closer than I was yesterday. Still a lot to do. We gotta, I guess I better add to the list. Fuel leak. And we gotta put injectors somewhere. We'll just cross this off. Injectors. But I don't know which injectors I have. I do think these have been swapped out, so it might not work. They're Decas, so they're not original. Oh, there's one missing right there. I'm gonna have to search that part number. Maybe it's the 107962. 60 pound at 43.5. That might actually work. Wonder if I can have these other ones changed out. Or not changed out. I gotta change them out. Duh. I wonder if I can have them like rebuilt. But I might have another set. Nope, those are all factory truck injectors. Ah, there they are right there. 125986. I think that might be the number. 125,98646. Yeah. 52 pound LSA LS9. So I pull those out and I can plug them in the harness and figure out at least if they work. 125,986,46. Yep, that's the exact same thing that's in there. Cool. So maybe that's tomorrow's project, or we'll work on something else. We might need to do something with the transmission leak. It's not coming out of the cooler. I hung the cooler there because the fan was making noise. But so that's going to be it for today. What was this, day 3 of the countdown? We got 14 days to go. I think that's what I said. Yeah, 14 days to go. So we hit a milestone today, and I'm excited. I might not look excited. I don't get super like emotional in the face, I guess, but I'm excited. Now I gotta go in and edit this video, put it together, and throw it out there so y'all can enjoy. And I will edit out the 6 hours of nothing while I played with things, played with settings and wires and all that stuff. So you're welcome. Anyway, thanks for stopping by the shop, hanging out with me tonight. I'm gonna sign off, go get me some food, take a hot shower, so I can do it all over again tomorrow. We'll see you next time.